In the last tutorial, you learned how to run the application for the first time, log in, and exit. It's time to introduce you to the basic usage of this application. Let's go ahead and run the application and log in. Here you will notice the main splash screen, and basically this portion is nothing of significance, as you can't really do anything besides telling you what the version is and the link to the website here. First thing that you'll notice is the file menu on top here. Just to point out that these are, well, you should not be using these menu here. All of the function are available within the buttons inside the application itself, so avoid using the file menu on top. I have not really found a reason to use that. Perhaps later on throughout the tutorial they may be of use, but at this point let's ignore that and don't use that. That'll confuse you more. I want to talk a little bit about the layout. As you can see, hopefully after you use it for a while it'll become more intuitive, but here in the student tabs it is kind of blue, and anything underneath this relates to the student. Same thing if I click on course, this now turns blue and the student tabs get hidden, so anything down here it's related to courses, and so on for teacher. Let me go back to students, and as you can see, students has some sub tab underneath it. So in this person here, his name is Lucky Jenkins, and you can see from this looks like a page forwarding next kind of icon. You go through that and it kind of scrolls through all the records of all the individual students. One thing to note, for instance, if you click on attendance, notice how right now we're on Lucky, or this individual person here, Lucky Jenkins. If you click on attendance, you're still focusing on that specific user or specific student. So now no matter what sub tab you're in, you're looking at Lucky's records. So don't get confused between, if you have 100 students, to advance to the next student you click on this button here. Now anything you're looking at now is pertinent to Oscar Meyer, and so on. Now the grades here and his records are Manny, belongs to Manny Ram, and you can always click on back to the main to actually show the and that this top portion will always remain the same. It will follow the student. So, for instance, see, no matter what sub tab you go to, the records underneath this line will be pertinent to the student being displayed. As a demonstration, the first thing that we're gonna do, actually the best practice for you, is you can actually look at the existing data and play with it, but in order to learn it really well, I would go in the control panel, and the first thing that we need to do is to actually go ahead and change the school year. This is important because when you put in new records, it will depend on the school year. So for instance, go back to main menu, and if you make a new grade, for instance, and put a new class for this student and choose a class, you see 2009, the enrollment year automatically populates. It's getting that actually from the control panel. So you need to set the year according to the current year or just the school year. And this is also important when you're doing reports. You gotta make sure the year that you want the reports from are set in control panel, so the report will give the results according to the year you set. So it is 2009. You can set the school name here, and also I call it the sub name, but it may be referred to as the school slogan. And the rest of the fields are pretty self-explanatory. And here on the instruction days, these are the attendance. So you have 12 months. So throughout this particular school year, how many days are the possible number of attendance or the school days that the student can be going to school for. So if you change the number here, you can see that the number will automatically tell you the total instructional days are 217. And this is important because when you click on main menu and click on attendance and making a new attendance, it pulls or actually populates the possible number of days within the month, and I'll go through this in detail later on, but we have to set the number of days in the control panel. And you can also change the logo. Click on insert picture and go ahead and choose your picture, and that will of course automatically change all this. And it's also in reporting. When you print out reports, it may show the logo and the school name. So again, it's important you set your school settings first. I'm gonna go ahead and delete all the records at this point, so this way you can follow along the tutorial, and hopefully it'll be more clear as we start from scratch, and no other records adds to any confusion. So I'll click on OK. And all records have been deleted, and we can confirm that by going to the main menu, and notice that there are no more records for students. So even after we show all, it's nothing for students, courses, and teachers. In the next section, we'll go over putting in some information in these tabs, and it's important that you follow the correct procedure and go in sequential order. As for instance, if you put in teachers first, the class will not show up, so you actually have to go in order, and I'll go more into details about that in the next section.